Hey y'all, coming to you from the international headquarters, ScottieDTV, but I was at the 2022 Goodguys Nashville Nationals, and I came across a very cool 1958 Ford pickup I think y'all are going to like. Let me get the camera turned around, we'll take a quick look at it. Tyler, what a cool truck, brother.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it all started out, the owner, Alex Short, he's out of Utah, contacted me on social media wanting to know if we wanted to finish this truck. So I told him, well, yeah, we'll do it. You know, what is it? And he kind of told me it was actually a truck that was previously started by another shop and actually already debuted at SEMA in bare metal. I think it was probably like 2015, I believe. And then he ended up purchasing it from that customer and then sending it up to us to go ahead and do what he liked that we did.
Right.
To make it more his style, more our style, more modern. And just
what did it start as?
It started as a 58 Ford pickup. The metalwork was there. We pretty much still had to rework every panel on it. The wheelbase was off on it, so we had to go ahead and move the fender openings, do all that type of stuff to correct a lot of that stuff. And then once we had good bones and had it all straightened up to what our standard was for what we wanted, then we contacted Eric Brockmeyer and had him start doing renderings on the customization that you see, like the hood. That was kind of our idea. We were actually in Columbus one year, and I told Alex, you know, hey, I think we need to change this hood opening.
Yeah, it does. It's like on top now, right? Did it used to lip over or something?
Yeah, but it used to lip all the way over down to the fenders.
Right.
And we just thought, you know, trying to make a modern vehicle out of something old, you can't have that big, huge hood on there anymore.
Right.
So we went ahead and changed that. And I think that really changed the whole look of the truck once we did that. It was kind of a starting over type of point, you know, and then it just all kind of escalated from there. We had a one-off grill, so that grill started out 800 pounds.
Oh, that's CNC aluminum now.
Yeah,
it's not 3D printed.
No, it's
that's
a
not
full
plastic.
billet,
holy cow.
aluminum grill.
What did it weigh when it was done? I always like that.
I want to say it ended up like 68 pounds if I remember correctly.
And it started as 800.
800.
Holy
Yep.
cow.
The back's all 8 out or whatever you want to call it, all machined out just to try and lighten it up. I mean, it's still heavy. I mean, 63 pounds doesn't sound heavy, but it's heavy.
For a grill, that usually weighs 4 or 5 pounds, sure enough.
Yeah.
And is it all one piece?
It's 100% one piece. The mesh behind there is all one off. We had a local company do all the water jetting on that stuff. Then the orange trim ring around that mesh opening was actually all water jetted out as well. So that's pretty much the 3 pieces, but the overall grill's
So that
one.
mesh is aluminum too. That's not
Yeah.
It's all metal.
Yep.
There's no plastic in it.
No plastic on that thing. Everything's all metal.
Crazy, man. And what about that tailgate? I'm gonna tell you, because your boy showed me the tailgate, and that was like 2 hours ago. I've got to own up. I never touch a vehicle, but I touched your tailgate because I wanted. I had to show Chad how this thing worked, because I was like, dude, I got people that can't keep their doors open, and this voodoo magic they got going on here, this tailgate will just stay anywhere you want it.
Yeah. So us car builders, we're always trying to do stupid things, and you get something in your head like, a new truck has an easy opening tailgate. Well, why can't we do this on an old truck? And so got to the drawing board, and it was like, how are we going to create this? So I got to thinking everything's hidden because you have zero room in those stake pocket areas behind the tail lights. So we ended up kind of a cantilever setup, running some gas struts, some steering shaft that goes in the bottom of the tailgate for the pivot point, and then there's stops on the arms so it all stops, so we don't have chains or anything like that. And it all came to life. The last truck we did was a red 56 Chevy, and we designed tailgate hinges for it, because you spend all the money for nice paint, and now you have a chain or a strap that's just chipping it. It makes no sense to me.
Right.
So we wanted to eliminate that. So yeah, the tailgate, it was a undertaking.
The latches are all hidden and everything.
Yeah.
Not just what I mentioned. I mean, the whole everything is like nothing there. How's it work?
And that tailgate started out, the previous people had that tailgate built, and then we ended up cutting it all apart and changing it and making it what we needed. But a original 58 Ford tailgate area, in my mind, is probably one of the ugliest things on that truck. So I was glad that it was already changed as far as the opening and stuff like that, and we just had to work with what we had there to make all that operate.
What about that bed floor? I'm pretty impressed with that too. That's cool.
The bed floor, yeah, so that started out, it originally, when the old shop they had the holes there, and we just had to make them square, make them true, cut, move them, do everything to make them, I don't want to call it perfect, because nothing's perfect in a car, but as close to perfect as possible. We actually, that bed's widened 3 inches now just to actually line up and flow with the cab.
On the outside?
On the outside.
Wow.
Yeah, because those beds, they're about an inch and a half narrower than the cab on each side. And then we pulled it forward and radiused it to match the cab. And then we had these big open holes that are now trued up and squared. And it's like, what are we going to put in there? We don't want to put wood, because that would make it look old. So then we went with the one-off billet pieces of aluminum. Then that's the inserts, and then the center one over the axle. It's mainly all just for looks. It has that perf in there that kind of looks like a vent. Well, it's not a vent. It's just all for looks to match the valve covers and everything else, just to have that whole thing flow through the vehicle.
Did you make any other cuts to the truck?
Chop
it.
It's not chopped.
Roof rails.
It has drip rail shaved on it, and then we ended up pancaking the roof just a hair, just to try and get it look a little slimmer on the top. Probably one of the other harder things on it was doing all the flush mount glass on it. To rework those pillars, it's all factory glass. I'm not a believer in running the acrylics or any other thing. I like just keeping a factory glass, so you can always get one. If that company goes out of business, you can always buy a factory piece of glass, and it isn't going to scratch up.
Though, right?
It definitely makes it hard, because it's not perfect. I mean, it's meant to have a big rubber around it, so it's very inconsistent, so it takes a lot of grinding on the glass, stuff like that, to get it close.
So you got to work both sides, the truck gap and the glass.
Yep, get the glass close to being symmetrical, and then we cut everything and just pretty much build that truck window openings around that glass.
Holy cow.
And
how did you, now going back to that hood, you had to change fenders in the front and everything when you did that, change that hood too?
Yeah, so the panel in front of the hood's all scratch built. The side panels on the fenders that are now welded to the fenders actually started life out as the sides of the original hood, and we just TIG welded all that stuff right into the fenders and did all that. Then the hood, now you have a hood that's custom. Well, how are you going to get hood hinges? So then we designed our own custom line of hood hinges for it, so they're an actual gas ram single pivot hood hinge for vehicles that sit low and all that stuff. It helps clear all
and
the
that
fender
hood
wells.
stayed up the whole time.
The bottom of the hood was actually probably more work than the outside of the hood.
I noticed that. That's very
The bottom
nice.
of the hood we tried to stretch our legs a little bit, show some of the metal work that we're capable of doing on that.
Absolutely amazing. What about the interior?
The interior, majority of it was all built in-house, as far as like door cards, stuff like that, under dash, center console. And then we use Seams Impossible. He's out of Salt Lake City there. He's a younger kid. Been doing upholstery for, I'm guessing, probably 10-ish years. But we felt give him a shot, you know, and the owner of the truck's from Salt Lake City, so they kind of had a relationship prior, and he really knocked it out of the park on that interior.
Yeah, nice job.
And he was very time restricted on that interior. I think we gave him like 3 weeks to get it done before its first show, but he definitely killed it.
Tires and wheels?
Tires and wheels, it's 20s up front, 22s in the back. We had Colorado Customs made the one-off wheels for it. And then we had Ogden Chrome do all the matte nickel on it, and then we just painted all the accents on all those parts, which was a very time-consuming process, masking all the little shark tooths, what I call them, throughout the entire truck. You'll see it on the hood hinges, the headlight bezels, all the bezels on the outside. It has all one-off machine gas, brake, and clutch pedals in it, and pedal arms, and they're all painted the same way. So there's countless hours in just that fine little detail work on it. See, it has all 6-piston Wilwood disc brakes on it. The reservoirs Wilwood, clutch cylinders all Wilwood. It's all hidden underneath the dash, which was another one of those things where you want everything hidden and no one's selling a part. So I then made a dual cantilever setup for the clutch and brake pedals to fit in a tight area underneath the dash behind the Dakota digital gauges, and still actually operate like they're supposed to and have the correct pedal ratios and all that. That was a little bit challenging to figure out.
What power is it?
The engine's a Ford Racing Coyote motor. It'd be a Gen 2 with a Whipple supercharger, so it should be putting out probably around 700 horse.
Nice.
And it's backed by a Ford Racing, one of their 6-speed manual transmissions.
Awesome. Anything about the truck I'm missing? Any kind of small details maybe I didn't know, or you want people to know? Colors?
The colors, the customer Alex, everything he has to be white. So obviously it's a little challenging because obviously there's a million different colors of white. I mean, you think white's white, but it's actually hard to find the right white when you're doing something. So it ended up being Oxford white, and then the gray is a new Ford Raptor gray, and then we did a custom mix orange pearl. All the colors are Glazerite from BASF. All the way from primers all the way to clear coats.
And that Oxford white was an original Ford color too.
Yep, that I believe was off like the 60s Mustangs, and it might have even been sooner than that. Back in like the 50s it might have even been using it, but it was just a nice clean but not bright white.
No, brother, beautiful truck, man. Again, thanks so much for giving me some time today.
Yep, nope, thank you, Scotty.
So there you go, a very cool 1958 Ford pickup truck from the 2022 Goodguys Nashville Nationals. Hope you all have enjoyed it. See ya!
Hey y'all, make sure you subscribe to this channel and visit ScottieDTV.com for an easy way to search the hundreds of videos I have posted. Either click the link in the description or the one at the end of this video.